Review is just like an M&E tool that has been developed over the years, working with different partners, and it just takes tabular data that is being collected from the field, collects it on an electronic platform, and also links it to location. So think of it as, a data point that you can track in space. So with maybe this program that we're looking at right now, where it's RIS, we send out teams that go out into the field. They collect data on paper, but we have another person who looks at the map and is able to relate all the fields or all the information that has been collected on paper on a particular location. And all this it does, of course, we know Zambia is challenged with a lot of network inaccessibility, and we try to make it suited for those environments where people don't have to be there should be a continuous data collection process regardless of whether there is connectivity or not. The review you saw in the field is one component where we help data collection. So the other part of review is goes back to the planning phase. So we have a team that count structures that are on the ground, and those structures, once they are counted, they are tracked to be as data points to the teams that are in the field. So we know exactly how many structures we expect and how many structures the teams should come back with. So instead of speculating and making assumptions to say, okay, this area has been covered, the structures that you expect people to come back with. So that in a way it's covered by the tool. You having information before going to the field, you know exactly what the team should come back with. So that's how review with its enumeration, satellite imagery enumeration, it helps give you accurate numbers to use as the denominator and give you proper indicators that the teams should be, what you expect to come from the team, and not just assumptions or static denominators that would go, of course, obsolete if we find more or less on the ground. As the spur operator, you have that canister, you have an overall, and you find a structure and there's no one home. What should you record? So they get all that kind of temptation to just leave. And in most cases, we've seen such structures being left. And the impact that has is that you would underestimate the number of structures that actually do exist in a district. And with the review tool, since you have that data point, you hold someone accountable for those structures. So they exist and you expect someone to visit them, and even if they are locked or if they refuse, you have to collect that information. So it kind of compels people to collect data for all the structures that are on the ground. So if I can use maybe one example, a minute ago, a colleague of mine was chatting and we're looking at the indicators that we have currently. And it's a situation where previously a district wouldn't have underplanned for resources. Partners would come, Masepa, to say, okay, how many structures are you planning to spray? And they would underestimate, thinking that they have the full coverage of the district. And using those numbers to plan, we've found, in the previous implementation, that they underplanned and they only covered less than 35% of the district, which is a huge gap. And these are the numbers that they were thinking that covers all the structures they have in the district. So we've seen a lot more structures being found with the review tool, and that in itself ensures that, or speaks to itself, okay, or most of the structures that are on the ground should have actually been visited that have not been visited at all before the tool. So we've seen an increased found structures in almost, I think, all the districts that we've implemented in. So the general picture, it seems like districts have been under planning resources.